Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Kat, the Nurse Clipper. If this is your first time here, welcome. That is my son, Dalton, in the background, who is actually my reason for stopping nursing and doing reselling and YouTube full time. So today we are going to go over vases, but I had to narrow it down because there are just so many vases. So today I have chosen to go over bud vases, and that is small vases 6 inches or less. And I will tell you, I myself sold one for $300 last year. So I know they were out there. I found that one for $2 that I sold, and I am going to show you some amazing ones here today. Let's get started. So we are going to start out with about $100, and we are going to work our way up to thousands. This first one is a 5.75 inch Royal Vienna Greek Psych porcelain. This one sold for $103.50. It was an auction. There were 10 bids. You can see up close, this is a beautiful, beautiful vase, and on the bottom it does say Psych, so you would be able to identify it and look it up. Up next is a pottery vase, and mine that sold so high was actually one, and I am going to show you one of my brand. I was really happy that one of them came up because they are pretty rare, but they are out there. So this is a Bauer pottery Olvera Street Mexican Siesta man flower bud vase, sold for $109.95. You can see on the bottom, this one unfortunately was not marked, so hopefully Google Lens would have identified that for you. This next one to me looks very, very plain, and I will tell you the one that I sold high was very, very plain as well. So don't discount plain small vases because some of them are going to shock you, and you will see that throughout this video. So up next is a name that I do not know. I do now. This is Nora Fleming bud vase, new, no box. You can see it's like a little bud vase on top of a ceramic piece, and here on the bottom you can see it is marked Nora Fleming stoneware. It is made in China, and it sold for $115, which is a pretty good sale. All right, next is a brand that kind of is mystifying to me because I've found quite a few of their pieces. Most of them are bread and butter, and I do pick them up if I can find them cheap, but this one sold high, and I have seen some other pieces sell high as well. This is a vintage Delft blue, white and blue porcelain bud vase, number 1502, hand painted. You can see on the bottom here, it does say Delft, it does say 1502, so you would easily be able to identify this one if you found it by looking up Delft and 1502. It's very, very funny, the names that keep popping up no matter what research videos I do. Some of them are just prevalent in high dollar sales, and this next one is one of them. We have seen her items in almost every video I've done. This is a MacKENZIE Child Mod Rabbit bud vase, new in box. This is not her checkerboard pattern. This one is striped, but it sold for $127.99. There was no picture of the bottom, unfortunately, so hopefully it is marked and or you could identify it using Google Lens. This next item is an excellent example of me saying do not ignore plain small vases. This is a brand I did not know, but I definitely will have in my head now. This is Heath Ceramics rare limited edition teal. This is 4 inches, guys, 4 inches. It sold for $149.99, and you can see here on the bottom it is clearly marked with Heath, so you would be able to identify it. So if you see small vases, do not ignore them, flip them over, see if they're marked, definitely look them up. So this next one unfortunately is not marked, so I'm hoping that you could identify it using Google Lens. I am not sure how to tell these. I found a lot of things using Google Lens that I was able to identify makers though. So this is a vintage Generic Yellow Bud Arts and Crafts vase. This one was an auction. So again, if you find something like this, even if you weren't able to identify the maker, you could put it up on auction and hope that collectors find it. But if it were me, I would want to know a maker and make sure it was something that sold well. So they got 25 bids, and this one sold for $145.50 plus the buyer paid shipping. So on the bottom, again, you can see that it is not marked. And then we have another unmarked one, but this one looks different. And I definitely want to give you, again, just like with all these research videos, different types and styles to kind of train your eye to look out for. So this is a Shawn Ireland Studio Pottery Owl Bud Vase. Really, really cool there. And here is the bottom. It's not marked. This one did sell for $145. So again, you would have to use Google Lens or know where that item came from. All right, another brand that we actually saw in the teapot video, this is Red Wing Pottery. This is a vintage Red Wing number 875 white elephant bud vase. Super cute little elephant vase. Was an auction, got 2 bids, sold for $149.99. Here's the bottom. So it does say Red Wing, it does say 875. So again, a lot of these give you all of the information you need right on the bottom of them for you to be able to look them up when you are outsourcing. This next one looks so simple, it's not funny. Do not let simple make you think that it's not worth anything. So this is an East Fork Bud Vase wheel throne. You can see how tiny this thing is. It's teeny. This was an auction. It had 8 bids. It sold for $152.50. And here on the bottom, you can see it is clearly stamped East Fork. So another name to definitely keep your eye out for. And then we have another Nora Fleming, and we saw one Nora Fleming already that was plain white, but they are marked on the bottom. These are made in China products. This one is a new Nora Fleming retired bud vase. This one's really cute with the X's and O's as well as the little bud vase, and this one sold for $169. Absolutely great sale. So the bud vases are full of pottery items, and I absolutely love pottery. I am going to do a studio pottery video at some point. My list of topics that you want me to cover for research videos is pretty extensive, so I have a ton of ideas and I will be doing them regularly. So this is Amy Maya. This is an 8.5 inch along with a 6.5 inch button bud vase. This is a pair. It sold for $159.99. Beautiful there with the butterflies, and you can see on the bottom it is marked, so it would be able to identify it. And then we have another MacKENZIE child. This one is super cool. It is a finial for a lamp that is a bud vase. How cool is that? So this is MacKENZIE Child's Courtly Check Made in Aurora Majolica Pottery Bud Vase Finial. This tiny little bud vase finial sold for $174.99. Absolutely insane. Watch for this checkered stuff by MacKENZIE Childs because it is big money. Another brand that I saw in the teapot videos. So this one is Fiestaware. So Fiestaware has a big line of a bunch of different stuff, including bud vases. So this is Fiestaware Clover St. Patrick's Day Bud Vase. Meadow Green Fiesta Pottery, really cute with the 3-leaf clovers there. This one sold for $175.99, and you can see on the bottom it is clearly marked Fiesta, so you would easily be able to identify it. Next is another tiny pottery vase, 4 inches, and if you don't believe me that these sell, I don't blame you. And just in case you have not watched my other research videos, these are all sold from eBay. That is where I gather all of the information, and I wouldn't have believed it either until I sold a 3-inch vase for $300. So I know they sell. These are a lot of new brands to me, so I'm really happy to be learning this with you. So this next one is Wellfleet Pottery Cape Cod Stem bud vase. It is 4 inches tall, blue tulip design, and it sold for $175. You can clearly see here on the bottom, it is marked Wellfleet, so you would be able to identify it if you found it. The next one is a Fenton, and I have one sitting right there of these. Mine is only a single, but I think mine will sell for about $400. And this is not a typical bud vase to me, but it came up and I wanted to show you guys because I didn't realize these could be worth as much money as they are. Again, mine over there with the colors that is on it, even though it's a single, should sell for about $400. So this is a Fenton Hobnail 3-horn bud Epergne. This one sold for $175. Fenton typically is not marked unless it was hand painted and signed, but definitely keep your eye out for these Epergnes because they sell for big, big money. And Royal Worcester is coming in on the bud vases. Didn't expect it, right? I honestly, I didn't know they made them. So this is a Royal Worcester hand-painted floral bud vase, circa 1899, Doulton era. This one sold for $185. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful yellow vase here. And you can see on the bottom, again, this is another one that is marked and a great sale at $185. Up next is a Roseville pottery piece. And there are, I think, 2 or 3 Roseville pottery pieces in this video, and I think most of them are not marked. So this is a Roseville pottery, early carnelian, 1916, mottled green double bud vase. So here's the bottom showing it is not marked. So you would definitely need Google Lens to identify this. And you can see this one sold for $193. Absolutely great sale on a small bud vase. Next is a piece that isn't marked either, and this one is absolutely beautiful as well. This is Mount Washington art glass, a diamond quilted. I'm assuming they mean mother of pearl. I am not sure. It says mop. This was an auction, 1 bid, sold for $199. Here's the bottom. This one unfortunately is not marked. So again, with a lot of these, you might have to identify them using Google Lens. This next one is a beautiful, beautiful hand painted. This is an Antique Royal Bon Franz, Melhem, Germany. This was an auction, had 31 bids and sold for $207.50. Here is the bottom. It is clearly marked so you would be able to identify it. And this is absolutely a stunning, stunning vase. Super, super cool coming up here. Definitely would have caught my eye, and hopefully it would have caught yours. This is a Marie Rogers bud vase with face. Super, super cool vase. Georgia Folk Pottery, and then they put wow. I do not use wow in my titles. I don't think people search for that. This one sold for $225. You can see this one is signed. So again, another one that's easily identifiable. I do try to pick items that you can identify for these videos because I want you to know what you are finding. However, I do not leave out the unmarked pieces that are pretty distinguishable as far as their looks and characteristics. That way you would know if you saw it, you'd be like, oh, I saw that in the video. So I throw in some unmarked pieces, but I do try and stick with the majority of marked pieces. And then we have another Roseville pottery that is not marked. I was really surprised. I thought most Roseville was marked, but with these bud vases, I came across quite a few that were not marked. So this is a vintage Roseville pottery Futura, the blue box. This was an auction, sold for $227.49. It did have 8 bids, so absolutely great sale. Again, here's the bottom, and you can see that it is not marked. All right, the next one coming up is the exact brand and actually the exact vase I sold, but mine was yellow. So I know this brand, and mine actually sold overnight. I believe for $300. It might have been a little bit more. I only paid $2 for it. And the cool thing is, right after I did my video showing that sale, a viewer found one as well for just as cheap and sold hers for just as much. So they're definitely out there. This is a rare vintage Luray Pastels Sharon pink urn-shaped bud vase, 3.5 inches, guys, 3.5 inches. This is a tiny, tiny vase. Great sale, $250. And here on the bottom, they are marked. It is very, very easy to read and very easy to identify. When I was looking this up, there were actually none on eBay, and I had to use WorthPoint to look it up, and I was just floored when I saw what they sell for. Next one is another unmarked vase, and it's actually not attributed to anybody. So this brings into concept one of my favorite concepts, and that is perceived value. If you have the only one of something, no one can value that except for you and the person who is willing to buy it. So this is a cobalt blue rustic multi-color glass bud vase, handcrafted vintage translucent. Here is the bottom. You can see there are no markings. I love how the seller shined the light through to show that beautiful, beautiful cobalt blue. And this one sold for $254.15 with no maker. So, you know, sometimes if you think something is absolutely amazing, you can price it up and wait for the right buyer to come along. Next is a brand I actually just sold a $200 perfume bottle of, and I found the perfume bottle for $20. So this is Lalique Charming Filicaria Bud Vase in desirable color. More words again, nobody's searching for desirable. Teal green. This one sold for $275. Here on the bottom, again, you can see with Lalique pieces, they are signed Lalique, and a lot of times they are signed Lalique France. So keep your eye out for these. Flip stuff over. Look for those signatures when you find items that are absolutely stunning. Next is a sterling silver piece, and even though it's sterling, I really would not have guessed it would sell for so much. To me, it is just really, really plain. So it's very possible it's the name. Not sure what made it go so high. So this is a Foster & Bailey American Art Deco sterling silver and enamel bud vase. This one sold for $279.50. Again, very, very plain, very simple. You can see on the bottom the F&B, and it says sterling, so you would be able to identify it. Up next is a name I actually just discovered in the past week doing my research videos. This is a beautiful hand-painted Anna Weatherly water lily bud vase, sold for $278. Awesome, awesome painting of the frog here. You can see the fly up top. There's also a beetle. She does sign all of her items. This is definitely a name that has popped up several times on my high dollar research videos. She is not a name I knew, but definitely keep your eye out for Anna Weatherly. Up next is one of my favorite makers. Again, really, really plain, really small vase. I didn't know he did vases. I've never found any, but this is a vintage Russell Wright Bauer Pottery modeled bud vase. This was an auction. It sold for $288 with 5 bids. You can see on the bottom it is clearly marked, so you would be able to identify and look it up. I probably would not have given this vase a second look, I will not lie, but now I will. And then we have more MacKenzie Childs. So hopefully throughout these research videos, if you are a reseller, these names are kind of getting burned into your heads and you're seeing what this stuff looks like, so that when you go out, your eye is trained a little bit better. If you are not a reseller, thank you for watching. I hope it is informative and or entertaining for you. So this is a MacKenzie Childs Cheltenham Courtly Check Thistle vase. This one sold for $299. You can see on the bottom it is marked, and with this checkerboard pattern, you should start thinking when you see this uneven checkerboard that it could possibly be MacKenzie Childs. Up next is a brand that I have seen several times. This one is a small pill and bud vase with a figure. It says fanciful animal. I see a woman there on the front. You can see on the bottom it is signed Pillin. Great sale at $275. This next one is really cool, and the funny thing is it had a $24 price tag still on it, and it sold for almost $300. So this is a Fiesta American Museum of Natural History bud vase, limited with factory box, sold for $293.64. Now, something that the seller didn't put in the title that I am seeing on the box is that it is Homer Laughlin, and I think I would have put Homer Laughlin in the title versus limited, because you could have gotten the collectors for Fiesta as well as Homer Laughlin. Again, with all of this high dollar stuff, if you put in two names, you're reaching out to two different audiences. Here's the box and the bottom of it, and you can see it was originally only $25. Up next is a brand I've never found, but I know my friend Jocelyn over at Crazy Lamp Lady finds Van Briggle a lot. I have never found Van Briggle, so that might be a little more common to find up north. This is a beautiful early Van Briggle bud vase in mulberry. It sold for $295, and here is the bottom showing you the marking so that you would be able to identify it if you knew this marking was Van Briggle. Another brand we know from teacups and teapots. This we saw a little bit earlier, but this one sold for a little bit more. This is a 5 1/4 inch antique royal Worcester porcelain bud vase. It does have a pheasant there on the front. This one was an auction, had 21 bids, and sold for $292.54. Absolutely insane price for a 5-inch vase in my opinion, but obviously there were quite a few bids and a great sales price. And you can see on the bottom, again, this one is clearly marked. This next vase is one of my favorite types of glass. I love iridescent glass, whether it is in vases, paperweights. I just love iridescent glass. So this is a Charles Lawton miniature art glass unique iridescent blue double bud vase from 1978. Here are the vases up close, and that first picture is a little hard to see the iridescence, and then here on the bottom you can see it is signed Charles Lawton. All right, we are moving up in price. This is another Lalique, and again, I just sold a Lalique perfume bottle. It sold in under a week. I only paid $20. It sold for $200. This is a Lalique France 4-inch Soliflore Serene Mermaid Bud Vase. Really cool with the mermaids there on it. This one sold for $384.74. Again, on the bottom, you can see that it is signed Lalique. So watch for etching on glass when you are looking at it. And then there's another iridescent vase. Again, I absolutely love these. They are my favorites. This is a Steuben, which I just sold the Steuben strawberry for $400. This is a Steuben Aurine Favril signed tree trunk bud vase, Art Nouveau, gold luster. This one sold for $400. So this one, I don't see the S for Steuben, but you can see here it is signed Aurine, and so you could look that up, and I'm thinking there is probably a small S somewhere on there for the Steuben mark as well. All right, another Roseville pottery vase, but higher value. Another one that is not marked. This is Roseville Pottery 1928 Art Deco 2-pole bud vase. This one sold for $395. Again, here's the bottom, no markings. So with these, you would have to use Google Lens to be able to identify them. And yet another Roseville. This one's pretty cool though. I've never seen any Roseville that looks like this. This is an antique Roseville pottery bud vase. This one sold for $399. Here is the bottom. Again, another one that is not marked. This one is a little bit bigger, but I thought I would show you guys this because it's just so different than what I would think of as typical Roseville. All right, this next one sold for $450, and I was kind of on the fence as far as whether to show you, because I know personally that there are a lot of fakes of this brand. This one says authentic Galle small cameo bud vase, yellow and amethyst art glass floral vase, sold for $450. I'm not sure if this is a reproduction, because a lot of the real Galle sells in the thousands of dollars, but this one sold for $450. Here is an up close of the Galle. I personally have seen fakes on auctions, and the auctions actually said they were fake, so I am very, very hesitant to pick up this brand just because I know there are a lot of fakes out there. Up next is a beautiful, beautiful Fenton. So I know for a fact there are Fentons worth hundreds, thousands of dollars. I actually was bidding on a Fenton collector auction, and some of the prices went into the thousands on the auction. I lost every single bid I put in, so I know these pieces can go high if they are rare. So this is a Fenton vase, beaded cameo, melon, satin peach, bud, cascades, one of a kind. Beautiful, beautiful butterflies and flowers on this one, and this one sold for $599.99. If I were to find something like this cheap, this is something I feel like would be a good auction item, because if it is a rare Fenton piece, there are a lot of Fenton collectors, and I feel like you would get a lot of bids. The next one is super, super cool. Absolutely love this. This one is James Rizzi for Rosenthal Studio. This is a set of 9 bud vases, and the title of it is I Can't Stop Loving You. Here it is up close. Super, super cool. I really, really love this piece, or pieces. It is 9 bud vases put together to make one piece. Again, they sold for $600. Here's the bottom, seeing that they are all marked, so you would be able to identify them. Next is a brand that I did not know, and you're gonna see one actually higher than this one that is signed with the artist's name, but this one is attributed to him, but this one does not have his name on the bottom. I will show you the marking though. So this is Guido Gamboni mid-century modern Italian pottery signed ceramic bud vase. This one sold for $675. Here is the bottom. It is marked Italy, and I don't know, maybe that is a GG. It possibly is, but I will show you the other one and you can clearly read his signature on the other one. But that one, absolutely amazing sale for almost $700. All right, we are getting close to $1,000 for little vases. Little vases. Another one that I think of as plain, probably would not have caught my eye before I did this research. This is a vintage Fulper Pottery green drip glaze bud vase. I think they called this like a squat bud vase. This one was an auction, had 14 bids, sold for $910. Absolutely amazing sale. Here on the bottom, you can clearly see very, very well marked Fulpers, so it would be easy to identify. All right. You better know this next brand. You better know it by now. With all of these research videos, this name comes up over and over again. This is a Franz porcelain bamboo bud vase. No factory packaging or box, but it sold for $1,000. Here it is up close. Beautiful, beautiful bud vase. And again, here's the bottom. All of the Franz is clearly marked, so you would be able to identify it. Higher. This next one is a set of 3. Again, none of these are especially over the top that I would be like, wow, that's $1,000 vase. None of these are like that. So this is 3 rare mid-century modern rose cabot. They sold for $1,200. You can see the seller's picture here with the ruler. These are very, very small vases. And then here on the bottom, you can see they are clearly marked cabot, so you would be able to identify them. And then we have another Guido Gamboni, but this one sold for almost $2,000 for a bud vase. This is a Guido Gamboni flask or bud vase. It does have a cork in it. MCM, geometric design, perfect, sold for $1,950. Here is the bottom. So there is that signature above his name. I do see maybe that is a GG or an animal of some sort, but this one actually says Gamboni, Italy. So this one would have been easier to identify than the other one we saw just a little bit ago, but definitely remember this signature just in case you see it along with Italy on a vase. And what would any high dollar research video be without Tiffany? This is a Tiffany aesthetic sterling bud vase, dragonfly bug and spider web, 5-inch vase. Great keywords here by the seller. And this one sold for almost $2,000. It was a $1,975 sale. Here on the bottom, you can see Tiffany 925. And again, some Tiffany doesn't sell for good prices, but I would say probably 75% or more of it does. So if you find something Tiffany, I recommend you look it up. All right, that was the end of the bud vases. I hope you like that. 5 inches, $2,000. You don't have much space? Maybe start looking for some bud vases. I hope this helped expand your knowledge. Bud vases are fun, and I know they're out there. So let me know what you guys think of this. If you have other brands of bud vases that you think sell really high or you know sell high, definitely let everyone know down in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up. Share with your friends if you think they would like, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now, guys.